You are welcome to Adkwart Studios. God bless you for spending your time with Adkwart Studios. At times, when certain happen in Africa, you ask yourself, do we believe that Africa is one continent? And we have reason to live as one continent. There is a bad news from Burkina Faso. A young man went to Côte d'Ivoire, and according to the news, he cannot be found. He's dead. And what is surrounding his death is something that he cannot explain. So Burkina Faso is demanding an answer from Côte d'Ivoire. And it seems Côte d'Ivoire is becoming an obstacle of Africa. Are they standing with Ibrahim Traoré, or unless we get into the matter? So let's go and watch and listen to. If you have any comment, please send your comment.
Breaking news. Tensions are growing in West Africa. A citizen of Burkina Faso, believed to support Captain Ibrahim Traoré, has tragically lost his life while in custody in Côte d'Ivoire. He was reportedly detained back in January, not in an official prison, but in a school, with no contact allowed with his family. Now, months later, news has emerged that he passed away under unclear circumstances. This has sparked concern in Burkina Faso, with many calling for answers and accountability. Questions remain: what really happened? Why was he held in secret? And who should take responsibility? This is bigger than one person. It's about justice, dignity, and the rights of all African citizens. What do you think? Should this be investigated further? Should African leaders step in? Share your thoughts in the comments and follow for more updates on this developing.
This is between Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast, a death of a young man named Alino Faso. This young man is a Pan-African and he died in Ivorian custody. And family, the death of this young man in Ivorian custody sparked outrage in Burkina Faso and beyond. Now, the young man in question, his name is Alino Faso. He's a well-known Burkinabe cyber activist and influencer. He died while being held at the Gendarmerie Academy in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. His death, lovely people, was announced, and the announcement of his death left the public in shock, and the public is now demanding answers. Alino Faso wasn't just a cyber activist. He was a voice for the people, fearless, bold, and often they called him controversial because he criticized the government and injustice. He is a Burkinabe national. He used digital platforms like, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube to criticize injustice, corruption, and foreign interference. So he is a Pan-African. This young man, many people love him, some people fear him, but all of them knew his name: Alino Faso. Alino Faso had been in custody since January 10th, 2025. And he was detained on charges of, number one, collaborating with foreign agents, spreading false news, espionage, and many more of the charges were laid against this young man. Now, his case, when he was arrested, has drawn significant attention in both Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. And since the time this young man was arrested, lovely people, many people who know about this were waiting for the outcome of the trial, and they are actually waiting for fair trial, not a tragic news of his death as it came to the news right now. Because from the start, his arrest raised a lot of questions. Why was the Burkinabe citizens detained for political commentary in another man country or another African country? And why was he held without trial for over 6 months. On July 27, 2025, according to the update here, the Ivorian prosecutor's office issued a press release. And this press release, lovely people, is about Alino Faso's death, announcing his death. And according to the Ivorian prosecutor's office, Alino Faso committed suicide. So he took his own life. That is according to the prosecutor. That is not all, lovely people. Burkina Faso government also say in their statement that this death will not go unpunished. The Burkina Faso government, lovely people, released a powerful and emotional statement condemning the unclear circumstances of Alino's death. The government of Burkina Faso confirmed that no official notification had been made to his family, his lawyer, or Burkina Faso's embassy before the news was actually released to the public. Additionally, they confirmed that the Ivorian prosecutor's press release only came out 3 days after the death of the young man. And this, according to the government of Burkina Faso, caused further suspicion. The third point they raised is that the embassy of Côte d'Ivoire in Burkina Faso confirmed his death only after they were summoned by the government of Burkina Faso. So you can see that things went off a lot. And the Burkina Faso's authority strongly rejected the suicide explanation by the prosecutor, calling it false, that this suicide explanation is practically false, suspicious, and unacceptable. And they emphasized that Alino was being held without fair trial for more than 6 months in Ivory Coast. Now, let me tell you something before we go forward. This Alino young man, recently the government of Burkina Faso have been making some revelation about some of these individuals that are trained in Ivory Coast, things that are coming from Ivory Coast against the Sahel, which we know about. I'll not go about it. And the Ivory Coast government believe somehow that this man have been providing intelligence to the government of Burkina Faso, according to some of the news and rumors coming out, which is the reason why he was detained under these charges. So that was just side of the story. And the government of Burkina Faso is calling the authority of Ivory Coast for the immediate return of Alino's body to Burkina Faso, a transparent investigation by Ivorian authority, justice and truth without manipulation or delay. And the government of Burkina Faso went ahead and promised to follow the case until all facts are made public for everybody to see. And they stated at the end of their statement that the death of this young man will not go unpunished. Now, lovely family, as the Burkina Faso government is trying everything to go through the diplomatic channel to handle the situation, the Burkina Faso citizens hit the streets hot. Following the government statement, the Burkina Faso's government statement, massive protests broke out in Burkina Faso. On Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, the National Coordination of Citizens Monitoring Association, they led a peaceful march from the Thomas Sankara Memorial to the Ivorian Embassy in Ouagadougou. In demonstrating, the demonstrators wore white clothing as a symbol of peace and mourning. They are not into chaos activity. And they were chanting that Ado terrorists, Ouattara, Medra, justice for Alino Faso. These are the things they were chanting as they are protesting. They did not just protest and then it ended there. At the embassy, when they got there, they handed over a formal letter to the embassy demanding immediate return of Alino's remains, just as the government did. Full accountability from Ivorian authorities. So on 30th July, the street of Burkina Faso was hot because of the death of this young man. And these people on the street...
Is it because he was outspoken? What are we doing to ourselves as a continent? What are we doing to ourselves? It's said for us to support what is good. We join the enemies of Africa. It's so sad, man. Now, what can be brave? What? I mean, none in the mirror. Say Abrantie be free, Burkina Faso, and occur every coast. Now occur is according to first news in so question there, but second I so say or in say be babonting and or more action or a Côte d'Ivoire. Na san ke be di na sem krama obi atie no ne atie ane se ono ahye ne ho akonfo na asem bi ho ya na emu awirem na obi a ono ya che no na oda fiase de ekwan ben so no nya akwan hye ne ho akonfo atisemu deɛ mepɛ sɛ meka ɛwɔ ha ne sɛ mmerɛ du sɛ bibifoɔ yɛdwen sɛ bibifoɔ. It is time for every black man to think as a black man. Without thinking as a black man, we will not be able to build our continent. Enkosi da ben pa na yempanimfo titru. It's all about the leaders. The problem for Africa not develop is not because of the people in Africa, but the few so-called leaders, corrupt and wicked leaders. Now, kwa or say bibi man kosu nyina no nya nipa ti abibi man nya nipa ti omu, but encrophobia mutiri more den. They are so wicked. Killing has become their hobby. They find it easy to kill. As if they don't have head, they don't have conscience. When they back, kum yon bibi kitu ebi. We are kosua. No, broni or no tini kromo. No be engineer. No kumu wa on crofo. Yo. Enti de Ibrahim Traore wo Burkina Faso. Na se wo Côte d'Ivoire. Enye ofe. Wo Ghana enye ofe. Wo Benin enye ofe. Nigeria enye ofe. Na se yenkrofo penatu no a. Na woni wo mo akabom. No abesai obi a ono opagya ne man afiri amanie mu. Na ebasa na odwen papa besuro mu wi organ ha na mse se wajai kan mse manfo di na tema wajai kan da bi oba wa se Ibrahim Traore ye beyi na afiri on na kwan a ofa so ebetena so nye papa no wabusa se enti abatu a yetu no wo abibi mamu papa. Can we call the voting and the election in Africa something good for the youth to follow or learn from? So deceiving. Kwaya e faso tuya bane kwaya e faso ye niema wa bibi memu. Awo sense san ebem. The air can say when you na bibi fo be ka kiro say efunu di fo. Well, inti se obi sorry se o kan kura na osuro cause e be catch us here bibi mem de wan here on beku na ye the way agru huna na ya kan nkrofo kasaboa ahye ye bom pa ye se omo nhwe na omo mfa ansa papa Burkina Faso demanding an answer, because I don't think that a man like this young man will hang himself for what? Yakuno ne apebibi ne yakana ne de oye de akoso na ye pepepe. Already who Africa bobo. Thanks for watching. If you have any good comment, please don't hesitate to send your comment. God bless you.